Yeah, the title's not a joke. The good news is this movie's bad. The bad news is the movie's bad. So, you know, I didn't have high hopes for Scream 7. I mean, by the time you get to the seventh installment, it never really bodes well, especially for a horror franchise. And yeah, holy shit. Pardon my French there, but I did not have high hopes from the firing of the original actors from the previous, from 5 and 6, to them, just begging Nev Campbell to come back, to replacing the original directors. I mean, everything about this production was just falling apart. But this is Hollywood. Who cares about the Epstein files? World War III essentially happening. We gotta get the 7th Scream out here, dude. We gotta make sure people see Nev Campbell fighting Ghostface again. Sometimes I wonder what my life would look like if I didn't enjoy watching movies, because man, this is tough. This is a tough one to talk about. This is another movie that I've watched fairly recently. I just finished my previous review, so I'm just recording this to get my thoughts on Scream 7 out. And wow, man, what a stinker. What a stinky movie. This is the worst Scream. I'm just going to say it. This is the worst Scream. 7 movies, and they finally done it. The worst Scream movie. And hear me out on this. Now, I wanted to go see this with a coworker of mine. Shout out to her, by the way. But she was in Texas, so I'm willing to go see it again because I'm bored as sin. And you know what? This kind of borderlines on fun bad. But I'll get to that in just a minute. But anyway, first Scream movie. Fantastic. Love it. Love Wes Craven's direction. Love the meta-ness of it. Solid film. Second Scream movie. Not as good. Controversial opinion, I know, but I still really like it. Third Scream movie. Definitely not as popular, but you know what? I think it's silly fun. There, I said it. It's a fun one. Fourth one, it's a fun little franchise reboot, or revival, I should say. It's fun, and it's Scream, come on. Fifth one, it's a very solid reboot. One of my favorite movies of 2022, and most surprising, to be honest. And then Scream 6, I thought was really cool with the franchise callbacks. Granted, I get it, it's nostalgia bait and everything, but I'm a sucker for this franchise. I kind of grew up with it when I was way too young seeing Scream in 5th grade, but I still find it a, certified childhood classic. So, this holds a very special place in my heart. 7th one. I'm just going to say this right away. I knew instantly this movie has already lost me when it loses its meta edge. Everything about all the previous 6 movies where they are cracking jokes, making fun towards other franchises and everything, and including the Stab franchise where they are openly mocking, everything cliche about the horror genre as a whole. And this movie becomes victim of its own criticizing. This feels essentially like one of those Stab movies. It is satirizing. There is no meta humor. This feels like the generic slasher you would see. There, I got that out of my system. I'm going to try and remain calm with this one because it hurts. But there is a little bit of solid stuff in here. Now, I'm going to explain that in just a bit. There's also, obviously, a very crappy movie to unpack here. So I'm going to try and get this done in a decent amount of time. First things first, I'm just going to be honest here. Nev Campbell returning. Great to see her back, at least by Sydney. I'm just glad that the producers were able to agree. But again, desperate move on Paramount's part. So screw you, Paramount, for getting that desperate after refusing to pay for her involvement refusing to pay for her involvement in Scream 6. So, screw you, Paramount, for doing that and for being desperate enough to bring her back. But I'm glad she's back. Kevin Williamson, he's a creator on the show, on the series, and he's directing this. Too bad it had to be the crappiest one in the series, but hey, there's that. This movie does also have some pretty cool, although, familiar, it has some really cool horror-like shots. Like, you get Ghostface looming in the, shadows a little bit, kind of similar to Michael Myers, but it's pretty fun. There's a couple of good moments. I feel like, overall, if you're in a packed theater, my theater was definitely hectic. So it was a fun experience just having like the audience react in this movie. Like at one point, Gail runs over Ghostface with a car and people were legit cheering. And I'm not going to lie, if I was like I was kind of enjoying the movie at that point. But if the audience applauded here, which like a decent group of them cheered, but if I was really into it, I probably would have cheered myself. It was a cool moment. And like I said, there is some really fun, like, suspense building. And I feel like the movie also starts off very, very strong with them going to the Stumacher house. Not them, excuse me. Like these two characters that just show up at the beginning and then just get killed. This guy and his girlfriend, they go to Stumacher's house, which just turns into like this Airbnb resort from the Stab movies. Going like, oh, remember this incident way back in the 90s and also in 2022. So that is cool that they did that. And there was a lot of good suspense built up in this one scene. And it did start off really strong. And I went like, damn, they are going in hard. The gore in this, if you are a gore hound, this movie has some pretty gnarly kills. One in particular in a bar is really gruesome. I mean, it straight out brought me out of the franchise because I was like, this is reminding me of Halloween Kills with how brutal some of these kills are and how the blood effects are just insane to me. So there is that. If you're a huge gore fan, which although I work in the medical field and everything, I don't deal with blood a whole lot, but I've definitely seen some gnarly injuries in my day, so it doesn't scare me as much, but there is some gnarly effects in here that I'm like, damn, Ghostface is knocking them down, but, that's besides the point. I really feel like that's where my praises for this movie really stop, because like I said, this is just not a good film. Oh, right, and Chad and Mindy Meeks, they come back and they knock it out. Oh, yeah, they steal the entire movie. Only 2 actors from the other 2, Scream 5 and 6, yeah, they come back and they nail every single scene. And I wish they were in this movie longer. But yeah, after that beginning, it just all goes downhill so freaking fast, man. I mean, for starters, one of the worst exposition lines ever in a movie. I mean, I actively could have bursted out laughing when Sydney's sitting down with her neighbor. I'll get into who the killers are. I'm not going to spoil who it is, but man. The Ghostface killer reveal in this one, by far the worst reveal I've ever seen. But I'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, her neighbor and Sydney are sitting down and yeah, she just straight up goes like, well, as you know, Sydney, I pretty much, just moved on with my life and moved on with my son and I left his alcoholic father, like something along those lines. I wish I could remember the exact line, but it is literally spelling out like, oh, wow, you just spelled out everything about your character. So there's that. And then, yeah, back to the Ghostface reveal near the end. Holy shit. I have never been so insulted. Oh, man. First of all, I'm going to throw in a little spoiler warning here. Spoiler. Stu Macher kind of returns in this, as does, previous people, but not in the way you might think. He does return, but he is essentially an AI, like essentially someone's like using AI to control him. So, oh god, just saying that just makes me feel icky. Like, it was kind of a shock having him back. And you know what? Not Stanley, good lord. You know what? Stu Macher's having a time of his life. Like, Matthew Lillard, he still knocks it out of the park. And, man, I sincerely wish he was kind of the Ghostface. I know there's that theory that he didn't get killed in the first movie. Spoiler alert for the first movie. With him surviving the TV, crushing his head and everything. But I'm into those fan theories. And you know, if they explain it well, then I'm all on board with it. But yeah, he kind of returns in this, but as an AI villain, I mean, you can tell. I saw this... I wasted money seeing this in the IMAX screen too, which made me all the more ticked off leaving that theater, because first Scream in IMAX, and of course it had to be the worst one. And there was just no reason to have this in IMAX outside to have the jump scares be, you know, essentially loud noises, just essentially loud banging noises, like literally just two fucking trash cans clanging together, pardon my French there, just two trash cans clanging together just to get you to jump. But, ticks me off. I hate those type of jump scares. I hate them. And it happens so much in this movie where just so many loud noises and musical cues, and it doesn't... There are some good suspenseful scenes that build up to a jump scare, but outside of that, there was just some random moments where it is just silence, or something would be going on, but then they'll just crash into something, or someone will, or Ghostface will jump out and just go, rah! And it's like, I guess, man, like, I just don't, I'm tired. It's the 7th movie, and I feel like this franchise has just finally reached a dead end. But yeah, Matthew Lillard comes back for like 2 seconds as an AI computer ghost man, whatever the hell the plot is, and then same with David Arquette, and then the mom from the second Scream movie like comes back in like this weird montage of like the past, and then once you get the Ghostface reveal, instantly, that's what made it the worst one. This movie's just generic as hell. It doesn't have the meta-ness of the previous ones poking fun at the franchise. It doesn't have any of those ingredients, so it is just a generic horror movie. And then right then and there, right near the end, the motivations of the killers are so lackluster. Like, it would have literally been better if Stu Macher returned. I'm not even kidding you. I don't care if they went full Star Wars here and just literally went like, oh, I'm just back because screw it, I don't care. Like, they could I would not have been as mad as I was as soon as those killers were revealed. And I mean, I respect people's opinions and everything, but if you're cheering at the end of this movie, I'm sorry. What is there to cheer about? There's nothing to cheer outside of the fact that this franchise is now dead. It is now dead in the water because there is nothing left. But I am hoping they make an 8th one just for the fact that they just need to end it. They need to do some interesting, fun ideas like the previous filmmakers. They did some really clever stuff. I'm just going to refer to them as Radio Silence. Those are the two guys that directed those 2 movies. They did some really clever, fun stuff with that movie. And this one, there was nothing. I didn't have any fun watching this. I was entertained, but outside of the beginning and maybe a few built up suspense moments, I didn't have fun like I did in the earlier Screams. And maybe that's the point. They tried to make it darker, more bloody, more gory, more violent, added more stakes with Sidney's daughter. But yeah, outside of that, it's just like, it's a weak one. And I mean, even Sidney's daughter's friends, like, they show up in the beginning, then they, just become bloody water balloons. I mean, at one point, McKenna Grace, she's in this movie for like 30 seconds before getting absolutely butchered. Like, I mean, she gets absolutely smackled in this movie by Ghostface. She essentially just gets gutted and her intestines just go flying out the screen, which is a gnarly death, but that's essentially it in terms of the movie. It's just darker, more violent, and more bloody. And that's it. So I'm sorry I did not like this movie as much as probably a lot of people that did, but yeah, it is just so disappointed. It is just so disappointing to me. The fact that the seventh film, shocking I know, in a horror franchise is not that good. I know that's like such a bonkers thing to say, but anyway, movie sucks, but you know what? It does borderline on fun bad. Because I just had fun with how bad it was versus, the regular Scream fun of like, oh, they're mocking the, tropes of horror and everything, or the tropes of the franchise while essentially being that franchise. And then you get to this movie and it's just, it's just the joke. Like, it has now reached, essentially the joke of what they were satirizing. I think you get the point. So, anyway, film sucks, but it is fun bad. I highly recommend seeing it with a group of friends. You might have fun with it, you might not. Hopefully more fun than me. But anyway, that's about it. I'm tired. I'm going to bed because it's damn near almost 1 a.m. and I got one more review to lock and load in. So that's about it. Have a good night. See ya.